Hello, everyone. Welcome to Awkward Conversations. We are Seth and Saundra done.
This is going to be a good one.
Oh, this one. Of course, she's excited. I'm terrified, to be honest. I even put on a shirt that's fairly comfy and cozy because I want to. Seriously, we've termed this Awkward Conversations because the goal was to find things that deserve to be talked about, that are awkward. Now, what we discovered is there's lots of things that are awkward culturally, awkward among Christians, but part of the concept is awkward among us, between us.
Things that we disagree on.
This one,
so that we can air our laundry in
front of you, so that you can learn to do the same.
So that we feel better about things.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. I mean, see, our goals are different today. I will avoid this. She will dive into it to make things better. Whatever. We clearly don't see this one the same. She's jazzed. She's ready to fight. I'm terrified, shaking in my boots here. We're going to talk about community, which includes like social
time
and friends.
Why is that scary?
Well, it's scary because it's scary. Community is scary. Community is exhausting. See, I mean, so here's the thing. We do see it very different. She can tell you how I see it. You
can tell them how you see it.
No, you'll tell them how you see it. Yeah. What did I say?
You said she can tell you how I see it.
See, this is how nervous I am. Because what I meant to say was, she can tell you how she sees it. Do you want me to tell them how I see it? Mm-hmm. Okay, and then you can pick it apart. Listen, I even made notes here because I thought I'm going to stumble and stammer and not know what to say. But people are important. Relationships are important. Community is important. We all need it. It brings value to all of us. And I think if we're alone, we're empty and we're lacking and we're missing. So I'm going to make those kinds of comments because I do agree with that. But I also find... I am certainly an introvert, and people are surprised at that. But what that basically means is I find people exhausting. So this concept of, community, I cannot deny that it's important, that it's valuable, and that we all need it. Mm-hmm. What gets tricky is that as an introvert, it's exhausting. So how do I... so sometimes I what it lends to in me, and nobody's doing this to me, it's my own deal, is I feel lacking because I see value in this community concept and this connection, but then I pull away because I get exhausted, because I get tired, etc. And so anyway, there's this jumble of feeling like I want to put myself out there more than I do, mm-hmm. and feeling like it's healthy and good, and that I know people don't like the word should, but I mean it in such a way that I think it's healthy. There is a piece of that is good and healthy. Mm-hmm. I understand that even the pulling away and having times of solitude can be also, but that balance is tricky. And that's where we have trouble, because you crave being out there, and you can speak to it how you actually experience it, but you want to be out there and connecting. And then, of course, it affects us. I mean, it affects those intimate moments with us because I'm not actively engaging in finding those things that are fun for us to go and do, or just do in general, and connect, because I'm just tired, right? Because I've been doing enough connecting in other ways that I don't actively seek more, and I often wish I would, and yet lack that drive to do so. So many things in that I even find exception with. But so go ahead and address how you see this. And because it's definitely an awkward, hard spot for us.
I think it totally makes sense that I understand people who are introvert, and I do understand, because I'm honestly like half and half.
I would agree with that.
People see me as being very, extrovert and whatever, and I do. I love going out, hanging out with people, meeting new people, like all of that gives me a lot of energy, but it also is like there are times where I'm like, shut it down. Everybody leave me alone. I need alone time. Just give me a minute.
Yeah.
And so I am very half and half, and I appreciate the introvert side and the feeling of energy you get when you're just alone and you can just like be with your thoughts and yourself. And I advise my clients, make sure you're having that that time where you are just sitting with your thoughts and being quiet and being alone. So I understand the introvert side of things, but I think it's just so interesting to me. The whole idea, the whole concept of community, I think is so important and so valuable. And I find it, I want more of it in
Yeah.
my life, but I also feel like it is tiring. It is like, I just want to be at home tonight. I just want to be alone. Like, I understand that when you've had a long work week, or even for some people, I understand it's a full day and they get to the end of the day and it's just like, I just want to chill. And I get that, but I also think what we see in scripture, what we see Jesus doing with his disciples, what we experienced on mission trips for years, that community, that's where, we say we want to make disciples, and we say that's what Jesus wants us to do, is make disciples, and that's important. You don't do that without creating community. Like, you don't create disciples without making community. It's why Jesus wandered around with 12 guys. He was building community so that he could make disciples who would then go out and share the gospel. And I get that it's tiring at times, and I think Jesus did it. He pulled away. He had quiet time. So obviously we can see there's a way to do it that is healthy and right. And that's, for me, what I strive for and what I want. It's even what with open fields, why I want there to be a lot of people there, why I want us to do things together, why we do extra events, because I'm trying to create that community so that, excuse me.
Bless you.
So that we can create those disciples.
Sure.
I think it's important. And I think there's so many reasons why it's important.
Yeah. So how awkward do you want this to be?
Go for it.
Because it's so fascinating, because I would very much agree with much of what you just said. But I feel like the strongest advocates I'm aware of for community, they're extroverts, or they're at the very least what you described, a mix. Mm-hmm. It is unfair for you all to pretend that you understand what it's like for us. And to say you need to push through. I agree. We do need to push. And we need to, even though it's exhausting, we need to put ourselves out there. We need to connect. We need to do all that. But to pretend you understand, what it's like in my skin is unfair. And I'm sorry, but I feel like, you tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like an extrovert feels like we should just get over it.
No.
We should just get over ourselves. And it's just silly. But this is what I feel like, because I hear people talk about scripturally community. And I'm like, you cannot scripturally make a foundation. Now, I'm going way extreme. I'm doing this on purpose. You cannot scripturally establish a belief system that says we should be living in communes. Now, I know I went way extreme there on purpose.
Yeah.
But I've heard people do that.
Yeah.
That is not what God has asked of us. It is not what's exampled. Every time it is exampled, it doesn't work, because it's not what God is not a communist. So, way strong statement there on purpose. I just think that there are things about being an introvert and trying to engage in this that I think a lot of us feel very misunderstood. And therefore we feel broken potentially, I'm sure different personalities, approach it differently. But we feel like we're the ones that we're broken and empty and lacking because we're not willing to go as far as you are. When we have a week where there are 3 or 4 engagements socially, even if my kids watch this, which I know some of them actually will, it's even family time for me. I love it. I value it, and I'm thankful for it, but it's still social time. And it's still exhausting. So we do that 2, 3, 4 times a week. I just can't keep that pace. And
we never have done it 2, 3, 4 times a week. Trust me.
No, we've had social times 2, 3, 4 times a week. I'm not talking family only.
On occasion, but not that much.
Well, no, because I can't keep that pace.
I know. So, but what I want to say is,
hard for
number
us.
one, you have a point. I don't understand from the point of being there and experiencing it. I don't understand in that way.
Yeah.
How you feel. I get that. I do think it's fair for you to say, I have most of our lives let you have what you need in that world. I have
That's
not
probably
pushed
true.
for social stuff.
No, you
ever until the last year because of open fields.
I think that's fair.
So I just want to point that out.
You have not been abusive to me in that arena. I do think you have been vocal about, and it's okay.
Abused. In that, like, I've missed out, and this is part of what goes on in relationships.
It is.
I've missed
Absolutely.
out because he doesn't want social, so I don't invite people to the house. I don't and I feel like I've missed out because I've given so many years to you having what you need. And so then it's like, well, now it's my turn. But no, it's not. That's not how marriage works.
Right.
We have to still find some sort of like balance in
Yeah,
this.
and
I'm not asking for a commune. When I say community, I'm not suggesting we start a cult and a commune.
And I know you're not, but you do hear those conversations out there, and you've never seriously, but you have played with those and dabbled with them.
I've thought about what would that be like.
And
Yes.
you've been around people that
Yes.
have, and I'm like, that's just a broken humanist kind of concept.
Yes
Don't you
and
love
no.
my extreme statement?
Yes and no, because I also think Jesus did it. Jesus had a commune, and he lived with 12 guys, and they wandered, and they did life together
for a few years. Yes,
in every way they did life together. And he checked out. He took time to be alone.
Yeah.
He had that. So I want to do life the way Jesus did life, and that's what motivates me. The reason to me that community is so important is because I recognize the value of having people in your corner when you need them, and also being in people's corner when they need you. We were created to live interdependent on each other as human beings. We need one another.
Yeah.
I need people in my life to be brothers to me because I don't have a brother. I need people in my life to be sisters to me because I have a sister. She lives far away. I need somebody beside me here locally to be a sister. To me, those things are very, very important. And so
Right.
I have watched, you've watched with me, people who have lost a spouse, who are now completely isolated because all they had was their spouse. They didn't make friends outside of their spouse. And this breaks my heart. And I have encouraged these people that I'm speaking of to get involved with a community thing, get involved with a church, go to a Bible study, go to a class at the local college, go do like all these things. And I've watched them struggle and be brokenhearted, be isolated, be lonely, be depressed, go through extreme thoughts, terrible thoughts. You understand people who are dealing with anxiety, depression, and suicide mostly is because they don't have a community. And these are the things and why it makes it so important to me. And I'm not saying that an introvert is broken. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I wonder if how do you find that? How do you do it in such a way that it's healthy? Because it is meant to be healthy.
Yeah.
So finding that is huge. And that's why, for me, community is a really big deal, and it's really important. And I don't understand, I'm not you, but I understand different personalities need different things.
They do.
I get that.
Right.
But I also think so many people who are introverts use it as an excuse not to engage because it's too hard. You have to be vulnerable. You have to make yourself available. It's hard.
Yeah.
And I hear a lot of young people saying, community's everything. We need community.
Yeah,
and
but
yet
then
they
won't
don't do the work that they need to do.
Right.
If you want community, you have to engage.
Yeah.
You have to go. You have to be present. You have to show up.
If you want to have a friend, you have to be a friend.
And they don't. And then they
Yeah.
say there's no community, we're all alone, blah. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, so
Yeah.
that is my passion in this, all those things. I get ramped up about it. because all of that is super important.
Well, so there is a point here where we do connect, because I would agree with that. So to my fellow introverts, I would say to you, if you land in the camp she just described, where maybe you do have a spouse, but maybe you have no other friends, maybe you have no other connections and so forth that you're cultivating, that's not okay. I mean, so that level of, I don't know if this is a word, but introvertism. Introvertedness it really is not healthy.
No.
So for me, so you said you don't know how that's found. I think that's the quandary for each one of us. I mean, each one of us as humans, I mean, certainly you and I, but as people, is to find that, right? So I look at my life, and like I have one friend that we have coffee, it's regularly every 3 weeks, right? And we rarely talk between that. We will once or twice a year spend the day together, usually hiking. And I would consider him a deep personal friend that I know if I need anything, and if I pick up the phone, he's there for me. Mm-hmm. I've got another friend that he's not here locally, so I can't do the coffee thing, but we talk on the phone routinely. Now, unfortunately, I did lose one of my by far best friends. That was hard. It's hard to lose people, and I lost him recently. He passed away, I think in 2021 or whatever. But so that's hard for me to lose that. And so I've realized I've got a couple of good friends, and I could pull out a few other friends, my fellow introverts, that maybe aren't as close as those two I just mentioned, but I could pull out a few others that it would not be hard for me to tap into if I saw they needed it or if I needed it. Now, maybe I should cultivate those a little bit further. Even in my mind right now, I'm thinking of a couple of people. I also should be open to new friendships and doing the work to building those. So to your point, my fellow introverts, you need to do that work. It just looks really different, because when I describe to Saundra, I've got this friend, we meet every 3 weeks for coffee, and we rarely talk in between, and she's like, that's not a friendship, and I'm like, no, it's no, that's true.
I would not say that's not a friendship.
No, you would not. That is not fair at all, but she would not see that as like a really deep friendship, maybe. I don't know.
I do.
Or to me, it's like,
To me, it's, I couldn't do that, it would be lacking. My friend,
that's a good way to say that.
One of my close friends is, we talk pretty much daily.
Which I'm like, oh,
and
dear
it's
God.
Not deep. No. It's like checking in. How's your day? What are you doing? Do you want to do like pretty basic stuff? But it's checking in, because I think about your friend and I go, he could like drive off a cliff, and you wouldn't know about it until you're 6 days away from your meeting, and hey, you want to, and then nothing, and then all of a sudden you find out, oh, he drove off a cliff.
Oh no, I don't.
Sweet.
I don't usually even check in with him before that meeting. We just show up.
Yeah. So, it's fine to do it differently, but I'm saying doing it is important, and I have to give a lot to him to not do too much. And
I need to stretch myself and let more be done, which she doesn't feel like I do.
No. It has been better, but I know it's also exhausting. Like, I just go ahead and plan stuff and invite people over.
And you should.
Because I'm like, I'm done with this being alone. So I just
invite. And I'm like, we haven't been alone at all. I look at the last 20 years, I'm like, dear me, we've been around so many people.
It's because of mission trips, though. It's not because of at our house. Only in the last year have we had people over to the house.
See, this is where it gets so interesting, because she's making valid points, and I feel bad sometimes that I don't have more to give her in the way that she would like. And so I feel like working on that is really good, but I also there's all this talk out here about being true to yourself, and I'm like, sometimes I think, well, that's a bunch of baloney. You don't be true to yourself. Do whatever everybody else needs, and your life will be, because it's not like my life is bad because of these things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's those battles. I don't know if you have those, but internally I need to flip and be given more.
Yeah, I have those battles
I
need to flip and stop inviting people over, and then I get mad. No, I don't. And
no.
Right. This is
because
human.
she should be able to invite people over. I feel like this is rude though, so I won't do it. She tells me it's okay that I should do this, but let's say we invite people over, And at some point, I'm like, I'm just done. So I disappear down to our bedroom. She's like, oh, that'd be fine. And I'm like,
I did that.
feels so
as a
rude
kid.
to me.
You asked,
I can't do
my
that.
sister would tell you, I would invite friends over and I'd be done and I'd just be like, I'm gonna go to bed. And I'd go to bed. And then she felt sorry for my friends, so she'd hang out with my friends and entertain them. And I'm like, but that's on her.
No, that's on you. You left them. You abandoned them.
I did. I did it. I said,
And you
I'm
left
tired.
her to pick up the pieces.
No, it's not true. She's not responsible to pick up the pieces. That's on her. She chose that. The reality is my friend can entertain themselves. It's not like they were
Isn't that
two.
great?
It's not like they were
No, they were capable.
2 years old and they need watched. It was like we're,
Yeah.
12. Pretty sure you could go read
Yeah.
a book. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
So I still feel that way when we have people over. I can be like, I'm out. All of that to say, this is humanity.
It is humanity.
Figuring out life and how to do it together. But I would say community is vastly important. And if you suffer from depression, anxiety, loneliness, isolation, do something about it.
Yeah, and I would 100% agree with that. We just have to give it room to look different with different people.
Different people.
But if you like, I hate doing this because it's painful. It'd be horrible. But if, let's say she was gone, hopefully because you died, not just because you left me, because that'd even be worse. They say that like
Leaving
being
is worse.
separated because they just choose to leave you as opposed to dying is even worse. But that's a whole that's a whole other thing.
Yeah,
But if you were out of my life, we need to wind this down. I think about what would I do, and I've even thought it would be very important at that moment that I change some things, and I'd be have people that I do a meal with at least weekly, or that I'm doing. I'm aware that I would need to then go do more, be with people more, because I didn't have this. And so I think within our own skin, within our own personality, we have to be honest and real. So thank you for being vocal with that, because it doesn't matter if you're like me or like you. You're right. We need people, and call it community or whatever. We need friends, right? We need to have those connections.
Yeah.
And if you're void of them, it's your own deal.
Yeah.
Right? And I get it that people are wounded and whatever, but we have ways to work through that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. And I hope it helps. I hope it helps some people, I mean, and you and I need to keep talking about these things and keep inviting people. You just have to some degree.
Yeah, but there's
just do it.
And I do, but
I need to be okay with what I need to be okay with.
And what's a balance and etc.
Right. And that's humanity. So there you go. That was definitely, for me, the most awkward one we've done.
Me too.
But it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. So I hope it's helped you. We appreciate you all. We love you. This is why we're doing this. We're finding really good responses. People are enjoying this awkward conversation series, and so we're going to keep doing it, and even where we need to get emotional and personal and real and whatever, it's good, it's healthy, and we're happy to, be that catalyst potentially for some conversation, right? Yeah. So we love you guys. Thanks for watching, and we don't have our next one, next topic, but we'll be back with another one in a month. God bless. You'd film that.
We would love for you to like, subscribe, and ring the bell, because we have a goal, and
that's right.
We're trying to get past 100 subscribers.
And we're at 70, mid-70s, 70 something.
So you're probably getting this a little bit late as far as the deadline of it, but still, do the thing, because we are setting a goal out there. We love to have you sharing our information so that it's out there for people.
Thank you.